Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was Gilgamesh Reincarnation. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Homelander over an anime symbol. And on Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto used 100% of his brain. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well, guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels. All the links will be down below within the description. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. So the last part we left off, Karin was clutching on to Naruto as he was hovering in the air, holding on to her. Orochimaru was actually feeling fear. Yes, utter fear, as Naruto opened the largest gate that he ever opened before. The Sannin found himself looking up at nothing but weapons. All of them were pointed down towards him. With a simple gesture, Naruto rained hell down on the Sannin, literally causing mass destruction and chaos as well. It was violent and very destructive. The backlash sent a wave coursing through the entire forest. Naruto sent a spear to protect Sasuke and Sakura, as they were needed for this part of the exam after all. As several other members participating were sent sailing. As for Yujo, she pulled her blade out as she sliced the incoming onslaught into half, showing the power that she possessed and how great it truly was, as she sent her blade back away. When Naruto came to find Sasuke lost it as he got so angry. It was the curse mark that was tagging on to his emotion of hate for Naruto, as everyone was talking about him and how great he was. Sasuke hated that, so he proceeded to attack Naruto, which was rather stupid as Naruto defeated him rather easily, waking him up by electrocuting him. Sasuke was able to get past the curse. However, Naruto thought of him as pathetic, to be controlled by another man's will. He found that utterly and truly pathetic. As they headed towards the tower, Orochimaru was there in the forest as Anko found out about it. She decided to move towards where the Sannin was, but she was unable to find him. As for Orochimaru himself, he was a mess. Naruto had messed him up pretty badly. Yes, he was a baffling mess, as some of the blades had negate his regeneration, but the main problem was he could not fully heal. It didn't matter what he do, the marks always returned, permanent scars that would never ever leave him ever, as he found himself shocked by that, as they wouldn't go away. When the few days passed, Hiruzen wondered who the red-headed girl was, having no idea who she was, as she was right beside Naruto and she was not on Team 7. As Naruto watched as the other matches passed by, he had to say they were all pretty pathetic. However, Yujo's match caught his interest though. The girl proved to be more stronger and faster than he thought, and that was actually getting him a bit excited. His name was called as he made his way down there to face Saku. Naruto did not hesitate to erase Saku from this plane of existence, as he defeated him with ease. ending his life rather quickly, like it was absolutely nothing. With that said and done, the matches went on, as Naruto sat there and waited. He did not concern himself with any of the other matches but his. He would be facing Yujo. That is what he was looking forward to. Karen couldn't believe that everything had turned so good for her. Coming here, she expected to return back home in misery, but she found herself living a different life, as she was now a part of the Uzumaki clan, and the leader had taken a great liking to her. They went to pay Hiruzen a visit, as Karen never saw anyone talk to a leader like this. She knew a lot about Naruto now, and she knew that he possessed a whole deal of abilities, but he never truly used them because he didn't believe anyone was truly worthy of knowing what he can actually do. Hiruzen actually understand Naruto's position in bringing Karen to the village, but doing so and humiliating the grass by sending one of their members back after killing the other would definitely lead to something that Hiruzen was trying to avoid. However, there was nothing that he could do about that for the time being. But he told Naruto to behave, as the man was dead serious, that he would not go and do anything stupid like attacking the grass. He warned him gravely, as Naruto said that he would not. Kakashi came to Naruto, as Naruto did not need his help though. He told him to go and train Sasuke. It did not really concern him, as Naruto showed Karen around. Orochimaru had returned back home and slaughtered a few of his own men. He was bloody furious. Yes, he was, gravely so, as he found himself really pissed off that the scars would not go away. It didn't matter what he do, the scars just would not leave him, and that angered him so. He told Kabuto to find out everything that he can on Naruto Namikaze immediately, so Kabuto returned back to the village. Kabuto's problem was getting too close, and Karen was actually one of the world's greatest censor, but he had absolutely no idea about that. Kabuto felt a dread run down his spine, a tingle, as Naruto appeared behind him, scaring the living crap out of him. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place of yourself, so say we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. We begin this episode with Kabuto, as he swallowed thickly. He found himself in a very sticky situation. As his back was turned, he could feel the intent behind him. I knew the moment I laid my eyes on you, participating within the chunin exams, that you were up to something. However, coming after me and spying on me of all person, you must have a death wish. Kabuto spun around, intending to move. No, you don't He wasn't able to finish. Kabuto saw the light as chains shoot towards him. He flip and twist and dodge. However, to his shock, the ground itself opened. No, it was a gate. A chain wrapped around his leg. Immediately he activated his chakra scalpels and cut right through it, intending on jumping away, when pain coursed through him. Kabuto looked down with a shocked look on his face, as a blade, more like a spear, had ripped right through his calf. Another came down and tore through the other one, causing him to cry out in pain. That is when the chains wrapped around him, and even one looped around his mouth, trapping him where he stood. That is when Kabuto heard something despite the pain, as Karen came out. You got him? Of course I did, said Naruto. Naruto knew that someone was following them, and Karen had confirmed his theory. Kabuto had no idea that the girl was such a good censor. She stood there by Naruto's side. What now, she asked. A blade materialized in Naruto's hand as he gripped the handle. He slashed across Kabuto's chest. What are you doing, she said. Weakening him, said Naruto, as he slashed the man again without hesitation, before driving the blade clean through Kabuto, making sure not to hit any vital organs. Kabuto was bleeding heavily and almost dripping on the edge of unconsciousness. Naruto stepped forward and placed a hand on his head. Karin was one of the few people that knew that Naruto possessed several other abilities more than just his Gates of Babylon. However, he just refrained from using them. And this was one of them. Naruto had minor mind manipulation. Weakening Kabuto made sure that his body would not fight back. Therefore, Naruto was able to break his mental defenses, as Naruto's eyes allowed him to peer directly into his mind. Naruto looked rather surprised. "What's wrong?" said Karin. "He's working for Orochimaru." "He is?" she said, surprised. "So he sent him to spy on you because of what happened in the forest?" "Yes, I believe so," said Naruto. "But that's not all. He's going to invade the village." "What? When?" she said. "In the chunin exams." We should tell the Hokage," she said. Naruto raised his hand. "No," he said. She looked towards him confused. "Why not?" "Because I have another idea," Naruto said to her. "Wait, what about him? Are you going to—" "No, I'm not going to kill him," said Naruto. "I have something else in mind." Time skip. Hiruzen was massaging his temples as he just sent the envoy to go and bring Naruto to him immediately. As Hiruzen was looking at the paper in front of him that was sent to him, it came this morning, but it wasn't directly addressed to him though. It was addressed to the head of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto finally arrived at the office. "You called," he said. Hiruzen handed him the paper as Naruto's gaze swept over it. "Who is Toji Akamado?" he said. "He's the leader of the Land of Grass. And as you can see, he wishes to speak with you on you holding one of his kunoichis without any proper cause." "Proper cause? Is this a joke?" said Naruto. "No, it is not. And this is exactly what I told you what would happen." Naruto looked at the paper. "If I'm not mistaken, this says that he wished to speak with me, for me to come to his village." "Yes," Hiruzen said. "So that means you're not involved. Your actions reflect on Konoha as well as a part of the village, as your undisclosed title of the clan head of the Uzumaki clan. However, you have proper grounds for what you have done because of the legislation between the Uzumaki clan and Konoha that has dated back to many years ago. That is enough that you need. So you're going there to sort this out, but not alone. Just a couple of months, and you've already got yourself mixed up with another village in some deep shit. Well, I'm not really surprised. I was wondering how long you were going to stand there," said Naruto, and hide. As Jiraiya came inside through the window, "Sensei was filling me in on what you did. So to avoid any public backlash or any fallout of Konoha using their strength to overpower a smaller nation, you and I are going to go there. I will be representing you as the clan head of the Uzumaki clan." "You will not do anything stupid," Jiraiya said. "And let me go over that again. You will not do anything stupid. We have a clear case on how to sort this out without causing any repercussion or any future problem. So, I want you to repeat after me. You will not do anything stupid and simply say what I tell you as we go over the information. Am I understood?" "Do you think I'm some sort of idiot?" said Naruto. "And I'm not deaf as well." "That is exactly what I'm talking about," Jiraiya said as he sighed. He looked towards Hiruzen, as Hiruzen could not get involved in this unless it was a matter of the village. However, it was a clan village matter, while the clan was still a representation of Konoha. Unless things were pushed to a certain limit, this was not an issue that he could get involved with, and not to mention he was ridiculously busy with the upcoming exams. The Raikage was making an appearance, yes. So this exams was going to be quite something. Yes, indeed. "Before we head there, there's something I have to do," said Naruto. Without an explanation, he simply left. Hiruzen turned his gaze towards Jiraiya. "Make sure he stays in line, because you and I both know what the other nation will think if Naruto loses cool." As Jiraiya finished, that Konoha is bullying the minor nations. Time skip. "Why here?" Karin asks. As both her and Naruto were walking on a bridge, it looked rather expensive. Because if this is a trap to lure me out of the village and for them to try and come after you while you're there, I don't trust the security and ruthlessness of Konoha to protect you. Then I trust these people. Karen looked towards as she saw the large group of people ahead. The moment they saw Naruto, it seems like their face lit up as they were looking at him with such admiration, such hero worship, like he was some sort of god. They were currently at the land of Wave, as Naruto had taken her out of the village, while he was going to head towards the land of grass. She told him to be careful and told him not to do anything stupid. It's just been a short time, but she's come to learn a lot about him, as she didn't want, because of her, things to turn against him or his own village to turn against him because he's a problematic person. He made her a promise that he would try to keep his cool. Time skip. Throughout the entire way there, the Sannin had been speaking with Naruto on proper etiquettes and not to do anything stupid. Even if he's going in as a clan head of the Uzumaki clan, he's still representing Konoha and he's also representing the future of the Uzumaki clan. Therefore, he had to be cordial in his way that he conducted himself. So with that, they headed there. Upon arriving towards the location, they were taken by the grass shinobis. The grass was extremely tall, as it was some of them pointed over Naruto's head. They were brought through many thick foliage, as Naruto supposed this was a way to scare off intruders because they wouldn't be able to find the village that easily. They were led inside straight away. They didn't come here to have a friendly chat or to waste any time. They just came here to get this over with. Many were surprised when they saw Jiraiya of the Sannin accompanying the boy. Given his age, they expected him to have a proxy, someone to be there by his side, but Jiraiya of the Sannin, they thought he was out of the village, but no, here he was. Naruto saw the people as their gaze looked towards him. Their gaze was filled with so much untrust, as the ninjas on the roofs made their way, some hidden in the shadows. The village was still in conflict with a minor nation close by over land, so he supposed that they weren't going to trust anyone anytime soon, especially someone that is from another nation. Making their way, they were brought towards what seemed to be the largest building. It was circular, like a dome almost, painted with a green and brown color. They were led inside, many turns and many movements. Naruto wondered if they were trying to distract them or something, as they were brought to a huge room. In each corner of the room, there was an elite officer, similar to what an envoy would be at Konoha. They were wearing masks, however their masks were painted with different color, most of the camouflage within the grass and the trees as well, fit for their clothing as well. The man got to his feet and stepped towards them. His clothing was more traditional. It was a robes. While they did not possess a Kage, he was a leader, and he was also the Kage of the village, but his village was not recognized in a way for him to claim that title. He introduced himself as Toji, as he was the one that sent the letter. "I apologize for the lack of hospitality," he said. "However, given the events that we currently face, and the ones that you face with the upcoming chunin exams, we don't really have time for it." Jiraiya waved it off, telling the man that it was okay. They could get straight to business, as Naruto simply nodded to that. They all then proceeded to sit down. As he started to go over the events of one of his genins coming back, explaining what happened within the forest, about the death of the other one. However, given what they signed, and knowing the risk of death in the forest, there was nothing they could use to charge Naruto with that. However, the unauthorized subjugation of one of his kunoichi, that is something that he couldn't allow. About that, said Jiraiya. As he started to speak, Jiraiya went over the case, resulting with Karin Uzumaki being a part of the bloodline of the Uzumaki clan. A deal was signed many years ago between the first Hokage and the head of the Uzumaki clan at the time. It was the Senju clan though, as the first Hokage was acting as a Senju head at the time. However, that partnership that they signed came over after a result of Mito Uzumaki sealing the nine tails inside of herself. It was put up to date so that they could have a Uzumaki to hold the nine tails. Therefore, Naruto, as a new clan head of the Uzumaki clan, was well in his right to give Karin free refuge at his village because of her last name and the blood that run through her veins, for her to become a part of the Uzumaki clan. What Jiraiya said was solid, however. Toji had something to say about that. First of all, he said, this deal that was made so long ago, given the state of the Uzumaki clan, and the state of the Senju clan that had first signed the deal, and the contract timing, I believe, that should be stated to be null and void. But not only that, there are others around the elemental nation that possess right here. Why do you believe that she's a Uzumaki? Do you have any evidence backing up this claim to show that she's a part of the Uzumaki bloodline? She lost her mother at a very young and impressionable age. As you can see from this file, he raised his hand as one of his guards handed him a file, as he tossed it over, one to Naruto and one to Jiraiya. Her mother had came to this village for refuge a few years back before Karin was born, and given the time frame on that, you and I can both see that the event leading up to her conceivement was done within this village. Her father died like many during the chaotic wars going on. An honorable soldier of this village had risked his life, but wasn't able to return to see his child and wife. So, you have no legal grounds to take her from this village. She's a registered citizen of this village. And even if her mother was a Uzumaki, as you can see from her profile, she chose to leave that part incomplete. And, given the proximity between the land of grass and Konoha, why would she have chosen to come here instead of going to the Hidden Leaf village, which would be a better option for her? Her mother passed from a rare illness that we were unable to fight. I've spoken to the girl, said Jiraiya, and she told me that her mother passed because she was used by your ninjas, because of the special properties that come from her chakra. I'm afraid you're mistaken on that matter, Toji said, looking towards Jiraiya. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if the girl wasn't coerced into saying whatever you want her to believe. What are you trying to say? The Sannin said. Exactly what I claim. He looked towards Naruto, so desperate to have her, because of the rare power that you now brought up. There are several ways, given Konoha, population and those clans that are able to tamper with one mind. I wouldn't put it above the village. Enough of this nonsense, Jiraiya said. Her mind has not been tampered with, or she has not been tampered with. Well, that is something I cannot confirm. After all, she's not here with you. As a matter of fact, where is she at the moment? She's back at the Hidden Leaf, a place that she's chosen to be, rather than fighting to return back to this village. The Sannin said. Is she really? Toji said, looking towards Naruto. For the first time, Naruto spoke up. No, she's not. And where is she? I brought her to the Land of Wave. Ah, a place that is owned by you, if I'm not mistaken. A place that the people worship and see you as a leader of sorts. A place where they would listen to you no matter what the circumstances are. By these evidence in front of us, it could be seen that you brought her there to keep her away from the populace, to make sure that she doesn't speak on her own behalf. That is why you did not bring her here to speak for herself. Many people within this village miss her, many of her friends. I believe your actions were unlawful, and you took one of my kunoichis without anything to prove that she belongs to your village or belong under your care. So I would kindly suggest that we sort this all out by you returning Karin back to the village. Naruto kept on tapping his finger on the table as Jiraiya was pushed in a corner. Naruto doing that made it seem like they were guilty. Naruto had the ability to see, more than just with his eyes. So Jiraiya was confident to say that Naruto knew she was a Uzumaki. She was, despite them not doing any blood work. However, Toji had the hand to say that they have no evidence to prove so. Her friends. Naruto said, his tone as calm as ever. Yes, she's a welcome person of this village, and many do miss her and want her back. So it would be best if we sort this out quickly, to not raise any other problems between our two nations. After all, if this subject was to be pushed any further, given the size that Konoha has. Now there it is, Jiraiya thought to himself. He wanted to claim foul play of Konoha using its might to intimidate a smaller nation. Friends, Naruto said once again. Jiraiya turned towards the kid as he realized the dex was slowly cracking as Naruto was tapping his finger on it. He suddenly stopped, the Sannin trying to say something, but Naruto looked directly at Toji. You said that your mother died from a natural illness. Yes. What about the bite marks? I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. You don't. The bite marks that are on her hand. I'm afraid I don't know what you're speaking of. Oh, you don't. So you're telling me that you don't know Karen at all then? Because she has bite marks all over her. So if you don't know about that, then you don't know who I'm talking about. Of course I know who you're talking about. I was the one that authorized sending the team to Konoha after all. Then how do you not know about the marks? Because I don't recall seeing any marks on her, given her time frame from the village. Wait, you're trying to say that this was me? Well, given how long she's been taken, without any proper supervision or anyone watching over her, Jiraiya interjected. I've also been told about this. She also told me that it is the same thing that happened to her mother, which led to her mother's death. I'm afraid I don't understand, given what I told you about her mother's illness. Well, you're lying, said Jiraiya. You would accuse me, the leader of my own village, lying about one of my own shinobis, which you have in your custody right now, trying to show that your strength is so great that it doesn't matter what a smaller nation might do, their efforts would never end up with a resulting win. I did not say that, said Jiraiya. I'm merely claiming that. Enough! Naruto had enough. Jiraiya was about to say something. No, I am the clan head of the Uzumaki clan, and it's about damn time that I finally talk. Naruto got out of his chair as the guards, posted, started to move. If a single one of you attack me, I'll kill you without hesitation. They were surprised, as Naruto was dead serious. Jiraiya tried to stop him. First of all, she doesn't have any friends here. You treat her like a slave, like some kind of tool, pawn. Her entire life was misery, and she told me that. Naruto found himself getting extremely angry. He never truly had anyone to defend this much, so he never had these raw, raging emotion coursing through his veins. You sit there with that smug smile on your face, expecting me to believe a damn word that comes out of your mouth. And let me tell you this straight. You keep on blabbling about Konoha this, Konoha that. You're not dealing with goddamn Konoha. You're dealing with me, the head of the goddamn Uzumaki clan. So if you have a problem, take it up with me. And I'll let you know this right here and now. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter your actions or what you goddamn do. Yes, she's staying with me. So tell who you want. Represent my image badly as you please, because I don't give a damn. And I'm done wasting my time here. Come after Karen. Try to even approach her. Try to send one of your shinobis to come after her. And I'll return here. And I'll lay waste to every single person here. Starting with you. Toji got to his feet. Is that how you really want to play this? He said. Naruto looked over his shoulder. Do something about it then, he said. Toji's fingers started to twitch as his face turned into a scowl. However, Naruto stood there, simply looking at him, waiting for him to make a move. Because the moment he did, however, Jiraiya interjected, "Enough of this. We did not came here for this. You're right. It was a waste of time coming here, and I'm done. You see my issues on this matter, so do as you please, but remember my words. And don't take my threat lightly, because you would be the first one I slaughter." As Naruto opened the doors and started to walk, Toji was pissed off. Incredibly so. Jiraiya had no choice but to leave as well, as the guards were extremely tense and also surprised. Despite how confusing they made the way look, Naruto knew exactly how to exit the location. Yes, he knew exactly where to go. As he left the village, Jiraiya by his side. As the both of them exit the village, Naruto was waiting for the Sannin to say something, but he wouldn't really care right now. As he paused, Jiraiya wiped a hand down his face. As he released a breath, "I figured that something like this might happen. Well, you have known me for a long time, you should know this." "No, I'm not talking about you," said Jiraiya. Despite all the claims I made, he would never have let up. He figured that Konoha would be too, caught up in their own image, to refuse to what he says. However, if that girl was brought back to the village, no doubt he would make sure that she is heavily punished. And given what happened to her mother, I doubt that she would survive for too long after that. Or even if she did, they would use her to try and create more Uzumakis. So as much as I'm pissed off at you, going overboard without listening to what I have to say, I wasn't about to sit there and allow him to do as he pleased either. The moment you took her away from the village, and the moment he knew that you know about her and what they did to her, is the moment I knew that she could not return. Finally, you're on the right side for once. I did not say your side was right either. This is going to bring a whole lot of backlash on Konoha, and especially your name as well. And I'm the one that is going to have to explain to Sensei why I allowed this to happen. I already told you, said Naruto. The only thing that matters in this world is strength and power. And if you don't have it, there isn't shit you can do. As for that man in there, if he chooses to go after Karin or even make a move after me as well, I guess my name would be stained even further because I will make good on my promise. Time skip. Hiruzen was having a headache upon Jiraiya returning, as he told him what happened there. However, Jiraiya let him know that it was for the best because Toji would never agree. However, Naruto's actions might have been extreme, but well, the backlash was going to be even worse. But Konoha could weather through it though, and Naruto could do the same. It was just as Hiruzen said. It was just weeks after that, rumors started to circulate around the village that Konoha was bullying a smaller nation, taking their shinobis, even rumors that they took multiple shinobis and refused to hand them back over. Hiruzen had made sure to clarify all of this. The council was not pleased either, as this was a stain on their name already, and it seemed to be getting worse. And Naruto was in the epicenter of all of this. Karu started to bring up the fact that the kid needed to be reprimanded heavily. It wasn't the first time that he allowed his emotions to take control of his anger. And now look where it has them. She was still pissed off about the first time Naruto attended the council meeting and disrespected her. However, Naruto did not seem to care one bit. As he was called in, he wasn't apologetic. He did not care for what they had to say. He made his actions known and he said it once again. He was speaking about mass genocide so easy. Everyone started to become a bit worried. However, they had to put that aside as the chunin exams was here. And the Raikage stepped foot within the hidden leaf, flanked by his guards, as the others were there as well. Yujo, Amoy, and Karu. They all made their way. It was a spectacle to see the Raikage coming to Konoha. As he made his way, Hiruzen was already situated within the box. Hiruzen got up as both men greeted one another. There wasn't much long lasting between their greeting, as the Raikage had a seat, his gaze fixated downwards. The Kazekage then arrived next, greeting them as well. As he sat down to the opposite side, he started to build small talk, saying that he was looking forward to the spectacular event that will take place. The Raikage was fully aware of the problem that Konoha was facing at the moment. But it wasn't just them. The word had spread far and wide, as many knew about it, but that is not why they were here now, was it? They were here to watch the chunin exams and see what the future generation was capable of. Karin was there, but she wasn't alone. Two people stood behind her, but their face was covered as they were wearing hoods over their head, as they calmly stood behind her within the crowd. Down below, there were two people that were missing. Sasuke Uchiha was not here yet, and Naruto Namikaze, someone that many people were here to see, was also not here yet. Hiruzen got to his feet as he cleared his throat, quieting the people, as he here thanked the Raikage and the Kazekage for making it to Konoha. He started to speak about bringing peace and prosperity to the land by having these events that were the exception than bringing blood and actual warfare to the lands. As the Raikage and the Kazekage simply stood there, listened to what he had to say. Afterwards, he handed the rein over towards the proctor down below, who wasn't about to waste any time, as he called the first match, Shikamaru Nara versus Temari of the Sand. The Kazekage making a comment about his daughter, the Raikage not really pitching in for that one. So with that, the battle began. Everyone was wondering where was Namikaze and where was Uchiha. They were a part of the big reason why many was here, but to not see them on the front line, some people started to get a bit worried. Not to mention a lot of money had been placed on them. A lot of money. Meanwhile, up in the box, Yujito looked around, as she was curious on where he was. Maybe he got intimidated by you after seeing you fight in the preliminaries and he decided not to participate, Karu said. No, Yujito said. He wouldn't do that. You're talking like you know him or what he would do. Well, in terms of fighting, I know that he wouldn't run. I can tell. Maybe he's just running late. I mean, people do run late, Amoy said. The match down below ended with Shikamaru giving up. Even the Kazekage had something to say. But surprisingly, the Raikage had something to say as well. Yes, Shikamaru showed great fortitude. However, the Raikage could see that he was ridiculously lazy. Yes, and that was his drawback. But many others were talking about his intelligence. That was similar to his father. The next match was Amoy versus Neji. The Raikage had a little smirk on his face as he watched both of them went down there. Neji's gaze was intense. He did not say a word, nothing about fate, nothing at all. He just had this intensive look in his eyes. The moment the match began, Neji thrust forward. The match was fast and brutal. Amoy, who usually go at a more slow pace, found himself having to pull out his blade almost instantaneously. Neji was not aiming to wound, but to kill. Neji despised Kumo ninjas. They were the reasons why his father was dead, as he blamed all of them. However, Amoy was no pushover. He surprised the audience by pulling off a B-rank lightning jutsu that was rather powerful. However, Neji was able to counteract it with rotation. Amoy found himself on the defenses as he couldn't allow Neji to hit him. And that was his mistake. Neji hit him in the arm, sealing the chakra points, one to his side, as he was blasted away. Amoy got back up as he tried to clash with Neji, but Neji dropped into his stance. And it was over. The 64 palm drilled into him as Neji was brutal with his thrusts, slamming both of his palms into his chest for the final event. Amoy was left on the ground coughing up blood. Neji jumped forward to end him, but The proctor intervened, stopping the battle. Neji seemed upset, as he wanted to take his life. Omoi was immediately taken to the infirmary. It did not look so good, not at all. The Raikage had a solemn face, despite the fact that one of his genins just lost. He didn't seem to be pleased though, not at all. The next match was another one of his, Karu versus Shino. As Shino calmly made his way down there, Karu was more pumped and excited. However, her mind wondered if Omoi was okay though. As she immediately drew for her blade, she did not wait until the match began. Shino did not attack like Neji, he just stood there. So she went on the attack. She swiped and slashed. Shino wasn't as fast. She was able to slice him. However, his body turned into bugs. But even then, she was able to slice and deliver damage to Shino, as everyone thought that it was going to be over for him. Much flashy jutsus had not been shown or anything, just sword skills and dodging skills. She was ready to end this. As she rushed forward, however, suddenly she paused, feeling strange. Shino bugs attacked her as she found herself swarmed. She quickly pulled out a fire technique. As the bugs were forced to move, several of them getting burned in the process. She went through hand sign as she started to build and pull her chakra up, only for her to collapse down to her knees. Many were confused by what was going on until Shino revealed that his bugs has been sucking on her chakra since the match began. And that is her downfall. Her trying to use her technique, pulling up on the chakra reserve that she didn't really had anymore. She was exhausted. She cursed as she did not even notice. However, Shino was not that well off. She had sliced him several times, and he was wounded, and he was bleeding as well. It took longer than he thought. She had a lot of chakra for your average ninja. Perhaps she wasn't that average after all. Shino thought to himself as he dropped to one knee. However, she on the other hand, she fell face first. The match would have ended in her favor if she would have gotten that last hit in, given the state of Shino. However, she was taken away to the infirmary. The Raikage was pissed off watching two of his genins fall that easily, despite the match not being easy, but in his eyes, they disappointed him. However, he knew for a certainty that she would not fail. Yujito couldn't believe it. Was he really not going to show up? She knew. She knew that he wouldn't run. It might sound strange for her to say that despite the fact that she did not really know him, but she just knew that he would not run. As, up in the stands, Karen seemed to look rather calm, despite the fact that Naruto was not here yet, and it was about time for his match. Hearing the name Naruto Namikaze, there was a lot of cheering, as Yujito made her way down there when her name was called. However, Naruto was nowhere to be seen, as everyone was looking around. Those that paid a lot and bet a lot started to actually sweat. Was the kid really not going to show up? Many of them started to wonder. As they looked around, the kid was nowhere to be seen. However, suddenly there was a spasm, right in the center, as a flash of golden light. When the light vanished away, there Naruto stood. However, he was decked out in a golden armor. He looked like a king. As he stood there, a red scarf around his waist that hung down to the side. A smile came on Karen's face. Show off, Sakura said as she watched Naruto, always acting like he was better than the rest of them. Despite being on the same team with him, he was an arrogant, show-off jerk. But she was wondering though, where was her Sasuke-kun? Why wasn't he? Her prayers were answered as Sasuke arrived, along with Kakashi as well. However, their arrival was not, needed so early. It wasn't their time yet. Would you mind getting off the field, said Naruto. As Kakashi's sweat dropped, come on Sasuke, he said, as they made their way towards the podium, Sasuke heading towards the box. Sasuke had this little smirk on his face, as he seemed so confident in himself. Down below, as the Raikage was watching, Yujito had a smirk on her face. I thought, You were going to not attend, she said to him, and miss this. Now why would I do something like that, said Naruto. Well, perhaps you were afraid. Tuh. There is nothing I'm afraid of, he said. Big words, but it can be proven wrong. Well, why don't you try and do so? That is exactly what I intend to do, she said. The moment the proctor said begin, she pulled something out. It materialized in her hand. However, no one could see it. Not even the Byakugan users could see it. The wind that covered her blade was no ordinary wind. But Naruto could tell that she was holding on to something. She dashed forward, but in an instant Naruto was a distance away. You're fast, but not as fast as me. Naruto raised his hand. Let's see how you do with this. Everyone watch as 20 gates open as Naruto launched weapons towards her. However, she started to swirl her hand around, the wind gaining friction and faster. She deflected all of his blades in seconds. Naruto was confused though. How did she negate the abilities that they possess? It was the wind, no. It wasn't the wind. It was the blade. It was special. Naruto sent chains after her. However, she avoided and dodged each and every one of them. The ones that she could not dodge, she sliced through with ease. She ran on the wall before jumping out towards him. Naruto held his hand out, but to his surprise, his defensors went off. He was almost hit. Confusion marred his face as he couldn't understand. He was blasted out of the air. The defensors, serving as a backup to guard him from any real damage. However, the force still blasted him from the air. Yujo descended downwards, her blade, well, the wind, aiming towards his head. Naruto jumped away, only to find himself exposed. He didn't know why, but he could feel it. The defensors at his back. It protected him from the slash. She turned around and lashed out her blade as it went upwards, but yet the defensors at his legs protected him. Naruto once again skidded away. As a little smile came on his face, he looked up. Ah, now I understand, he said. She looked towards him with a narrow gaze. Understand what? I was wondering if I was going crazy. Your blade pattern doesn't make any sense. That's because it's not truly your blade pattern, now is it? Naruto's red eyes focus on it. The blade is not moving as the wind. That's just a distraction. A powerful hallucination mixed with their power. To give one the aspect that the blade is moving to their whims. Because of the wind. However, I can see it now. I was right, she said to herself. I've never come across someone that was able to see my blade. The moment my technique is figured out, one is able to predict and understand my movements, but I can see that look in your eyes, you can see it. Which led me to believe that we are similar. I do not know how, but we are. You can see it as well, can you not? Yes, said Naruto. That power fluctuating around you. You can see mine as well. Yes. We are two of a kind, she said to him. As her gaze narrowed. Meanwhile, many were wondering what they were talking about. I have to defeat you, she said to him. I'm not sure why, but it seems I must. As she pointed her blade towards him, the wind vanishing, exposing the Excalibur. Many was shocked by the appearance of the weapon and the size as well. The blade was flat and slim, but it was long, longer than her frame. Yet she wielded it with such ease. Now that that is over with, let's see just how much stronger you really are. Naruto held both of his hands out. Hundreds of gates open up. You better move, otherwise you will die. They rained down towards her. However, she was an excellent swordswoman. Perhaps, no, definitely, the world's greatest. She deflected and dodged everything. It was like her body had extra sensory, able to feel the blades the moment they enter a distance. Naruto was impressed. Greatly so. He wasn't the only one. All of them were. However, she had enough. She twisted her hand around the handle and the blade was illuminated by a golden light. The next time she slashed, Naruto had to move. The wall was ripped by the slash. Naruto turned back around, but that was a mistake. She was now right in front of him. He was shocked as he realized that she uses blades, uses weapons as a stepping stone. All this time she was holding back her true speed. His eyes firmly set right on her. Yujo realized something in that moment as she sliced and tore through his armor. Naruto was sent sailing as he crashed hard in the wall. Jiraiya was surprised as he stood on top of the building. He was shocked the kid got hurt because of Naruto's defenses. It was incredibly hard to hurt him, but this girl, this was no Genin. For her to be able to do that, she was Jonin level and above. Maybe further above than he could even see. Because Naruto was greater than almost all the Jonins here. And yet, she did that so effortlessly. It was truly and utterly shocking. The Raikage had a smirk. It seems Namikaze is done for, he said. I wouldn't count him out just yet. Hiruzen said. That is when Yujo stepped forward. One would expect her to be happy, but she was pissed off. How dare you, she said, as Naruto was leaned up against the wall motionless. I saw what you did. In the last moment he moved his arm, but he stopped. Why did you let me do that, she said to him, feeling angry that he doubted her skills, showing her pity. Do you think I'm some... No. I don't think you're some damsel in distress, said Naruto, that needed me to show you pity. He reached up as Naruto tapped his chest, looking at his fingers where there was blood. You sliced right through my armor. If you had gone full force, you'd have probably killed me. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, he said. He pulled himself up. You want to know something strange? I've never been truly wounded before. Even fighting someone like Jiraiya or Orochimaru. And yet, you did it. I don't know what you are or who you are. However, I've been getting this lost sensation, feeling like I would never find someone to truly test myself against. But you've given me that, and I needed to see if you can, and you did it. You actually did it. A red aura started to swallow Naruto. Yujo saw it. The golden aura was vanishing, replaced with a red. The wall exploded as Naruto emerged, his whole body glistening and trembling with power. He lifted his head to the sky laughing like a maniac as he seemed to be high. His brain functions on a completely other level. Excitement was overwhelming. His red eyes snapped towards her. Yujo had to move as some of her hair was sliced off. He's fast. Naruto kicked her in the stomach. She crashed into the wall as Naruto stood there with a blade in his hand. A very powerful blade. Its name was Durnal, otherwise known as a symbol of power. It was similar to her blade, it was flat. However, the blade had a blackish tint to it. Up in the stance, she was surprised. Naruto must really respect this girl, as he was actually fighting her, rather than just launching weapons to end the battle easily. Yujo was surprised. She thought that he was basically an archer, launching weapons and weapons, but he could actually use them. Their blades clashed. However, it was clear that hers was still more powerful. She sent Naruto sailing by, flicking the power off her blade. However, his feet slammed into the wall. He shot back towards her. She guarded herself as the ground exploded, rupturing everything around them. Everyone was speechless. This wasn't possible. This cannot be two Genins fighting. This battle did not make any sense. They cannot be two Genins. Their blades clash, caused the place to crack as it was breaking apart. However, it was doing more than that. Their combined power was causing friction, clashing and clashing again. Deep, deep, deep and far away, something sealed away within the earth started to be affected by their clash. Something started to move. As the two battle houses were clashing violently, Naruto still used his gates. Yujo found herself hard pressed to keep up as he was summoning so much while attacking her, but yet she closed her eyes. She took a deep breath, her body moving with every swing, twisting, turning, dodging. She thrust forward as she released a power from the tip of her blade that crashed into Naruto. It launched him. He slammed into the ground before crashing into the wall. She ran before jumping in the air. She held her blade up as a bright light consumed almost everything. As she brought it down, a loud explosion reverberated through the entire place. Everyone started to panic as the entire place was shaking vigorously. The Kazekage, who was Orochimaru in disguise in more ways than one. Orochimaru was speechless, utterly so, and shocked. These were kids, Genins. How could Genins possess power like this? This made absolutely no sense. None at all, he thought. Down below as everyone watched, wondering if Naruto was dead. However, Yujo was surprised. Her hand was shaking slightly as she held her blade. Naruto's hand was up, his blade blocking hers. Given the amount of force she used, she expected his blade to shatter, but it did not. However, what she did not know was, this blade was nearly unbreakable. But that was not all. Naruto looked at her weapon. Oh, I see. You've not yet unlocked it. What? She said to him. Ah, you haven't noticed. Well, it's not my place to say anything, said Naruto. However, our next battle will be even greater than this one. What do you mean our next battle? She said to him, looking rather confused. He was speaking like this one was one of the past. Well, I simply mean, this battle is now over. Haven't you noticed, said Naruto. Her gaze focused on him. That is when she saw it. She stepped back. The aura that surrounded him was no longer a heavy red. It was now a merger of red and gold. And it was now depicting him, but as a statue. A kingly godly statue with his arms folded. It was a representation of his power. She found herself paling in comparison as she held the blade in her hand. His power kept on rising and rising and rising. This wasn't possible. Just how powerful was he? She thought to herself, backing away. The Raikage was confused by her sudden cowardness. What the hell was she doing? The next second though, her eyes snapped as Naruto smiled when he saw her confidence return. She looked up with a smirk before dashing towards him. This actually made him happy. Her refusal to give up. Yes, this is what he was looking for. They clashed once again. However, this time, Yujo was sent sailing. She smashed into the wall. However, she refused to drop her blade. As Naruto appeared above her, he brought his blade down as her body sunk deeper into the wall. Once again, the earth cracked and ripped apart. He then floated up to the sky. She quickly got back to her feet as he descended hundreds. She kept on deflecting and blocking, but she got sliced on the arm and then on the leg. She then got grazed across her side. She was being slashed up. She slammed her blade into the ground, releasing a wave that blew all of his other blades away. However, behind her, she turned, but it was already too late. She cried out as Naruto slashed her across the back. He was now holding on to something different in his hand. He thrust the blade forward, and energy exploded from the tip and launched her. She crashed hard once again. Naruto wasn't done as he released 10 gates. They released weapons after weapons. The explosion went off right in front of her and on her as well. Many were shocked. She was dead, his ruthlessness showing. However, Naruto stood there as she stepped out of the smoke. Her clothing battered and torn, but she refused to give up. As Naruto dashed towards her, she was a better swordsperson than him. Yes, she could handle the blade much better than him, but not in this state. Naruto sliced and stabbed. His wounds that he inflicted on her seemed to invigorate her, though, as she kept on attacking. Her will to not give up was so strong. More and more she was impressing Naruto. More and more, even when she was dripping with blood. As Naruto stood there, still looking like some benevolent being of power. That is when she looked up towards him. Her eyes focused on him. I'm not done. I won't give up. You're not in a state to say something like that. You're done. Who the hell decided that? That is when Naruto noticed her blade start to glow. I won't give up. Her blade started to glow. Naruto watched with interest. He looked surprised. The ground started to rumble, the sky started to quake. She raised her blade towards him. I am not anywhere close to giving up. As a huge power surge appeared on the tip of her blade. However, the next second it went out. Her body started to fall. Her face did not hit the ground though, as she landed right in his arms. I can't move. You did it, said Naruto. You unlocked the next stage of your blade. As I said, you will be great, and we will fight again. You're still so much stronger than I thought. Yes, I am, said Naruto. I was crafted by the gods to be a being of power, a being of law. How do you... I just know, said Naruto. But your strength is nothing to scoff at. Soon enough, your power will rise to heights that will shatter any limitation that your body might has. Because I can see your blade. It's constricted. Therefore, your body is also constricted as well. I guess I lost then, she said. Yes, you did. But next time, I will not. I enjoy this, she said. More than I thought. I did as well. She started to black out. But I think it's more than that she heard from Naruto. I think that His last words shocked her before she blacked out in his arms. As she was out cold, he picked her up bridal style as her blade vanished. As he placed her on the stretcher, she was taken away, the medics working on her. He was announced as the winner. The people were silent before. They exploded into cheers. While all of that was going on, neither Naruto or Yujo had any idea what their little clash did, or what exactly they had awoken. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.